And he got a job in McDonald's, and it mortified him to go to McDonald's. And the day he was due to start, he got a call and said, oh, by the way, you came for that audition last week. You've got the job. And he became the drummer in an amazingly phenomenal band. I'm going to move on now to the minds of super, super, super successful people. So I work with a lot of them, and I call them the 1%ers because they have everything. They tend to have an amazing relationship. Someone like Richard Branson, who's been married for 30 years, maybe more. They tend to be very successful in business, and they also tend to share it. So that's a small percentage, but you can join that percentage if you want to. But when I started to work with major CEOs and Olympic athletes and rock stars and royalty, I noticed that they all had the same habits. And so I'm going to tell you what these habits are. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you're born with these habits or if you adopt them. Just because you weren't born with them, that doesn't make any difference. If you make a decision, I'm going to acquire these habits, pick up these habits, adopt these habits and make them my own, then that's exactly what will happen. So here is what successful people do. They do what they hate. Successful people will do what they hate to get to where they want to be. And people who fail, they will give up their dream faster than do what they don't want to do. So one of my clients, who is a very, very famous, and is in a famous rock band, is not quite so famous now because he's been in it since the 80s, but he was telling me his story. And he was saying, I had a wife and 2 kids, and I always wanted to be a drummer in a band. That was my life's ambition, but I have a wife and 2 kids, and I didn't come from money. In fact, I came from no money at all, and I had to work to pay the bills. Now, in the 80s in England, before the internet, they used to have a newspaper called Melody Maker, and you'd open it, and it would say, audition on Friday in Camden for a rock guitarist, or audition on Saturday in Hampstead for a vocalist, and it had all these auditions listed, and you'd get it, and you go to the audition, and then they might go, very good, come back tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and we're going to audition you again. So he couldn't have a regular job because he had to get the paper, find out the auditions, go to the auditions, and then they often did a callback. And so he became a taxi driver. And he could only do night cabbing because he had to be free all day to audition, but he was exhausted and he never got enough money. So he said, okay, I'm going to go and work in McDonald's. And he got a job in McDonald's, and it mortified him to go to McDonald's. And the day he was due to start, he got a call and said, oh, by the way, you came for that audition last week. You've got the job. And he became the drummer in an amazingly phenomenal band. And when you tell people the story, they go, oh my God, I'd never work in McDonald's. Oh my God, how embarrassing. I'm like, but you're missing the point. He was prepared to work night shifts in McDonald's. He could audition during the day so he could be a rock star. And you would give up the chance of going to an audition. It's like saying, I want to be a movie star and I've got to get the stage. This was another newspaper, and open it up. Find out when the castings are, but I also have to have a living, so I'm going to work nights as a cleaner so that I can get that magazine, the stage, and always be in an audition and put myself there and eventually get cast and be in a play, be in a movie, get seen, be in another one. We go, well, I'd never be a cleaner. No, not me. But they give up their dream because they don't want to do what they don't want to do. And people who succeed do what they hate. So I was taking a flight from New York to LA with a celebrity. I was working on a show with very overweight celebrities. And I went to pick this guy up in his hotel, and he came out in a fur coat and flip-flops, and it was snowing. And I'm like, why have you got on flip-flops? He goes, there's freaking terrorists. I've got to take my shoes off at the airport, and because I'm so fat, I can't get them off, and if I get them off, I can't get them on again. So I have to wear flip-flops or hotel slippers in the snow because of terrorists. I'm like, but it's not the terrorists, darling. It's because you're very fat. Really the terrorist's fault. That's why you've got to take the slippers off. But anyway, so we got on the plane, and it was so interesting. He didn't eat or drink a thing. And I said, why not? He said, I can't get in the bathrooms on an aeroplane. He said, I just can't get in there. So I don't eat or drink anything because I'm so scared of being stuck in a plane bathroom. And I have to ask for a seat extender. It's really embarrassing. And I said, okay, but why don't you work out? And he went, because I'm so famous and I've got this famous persona. I'm the happy fat guy. My whole thing is I'm a happy fat guy. I talk about it all the time. And so I can't go to a gym because then I'm a fake. And I can't even have a personal trainer because I'm a fake. Because I've got this whole image, I'm the happy guy who loves being fat. But inside I didn't love it. I said, okay, well, here's what you're going to have to do. You've got to go work out. People who work out don't go, yes, I love it. So to his credit, I told him the story about all my clients who are successful and who've lost half their body weight by doing what they hate. They never wake up and go, oh my God, it's 5 a.m. and I'm going for a hike. Because he had to work out. He had to run up and down where he lived in Laurel Canyon at 4 in the morning in the pitch black so nobody could see. But he never woke up and go, oh, 4 o'clock, putting on my running shoes, going up that hill, 600 pounds, yes! He didn't love it. But of course he did it. And of course then he did begin to love it. And then he lost a ton of weight. I went to his wedding. He danced with his wife. It was a beautiful thing because he did what he hated. So people who succeed are always prepared to do what they hate. And they always say, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. So people who succeed will do 3 jobs. They understand that, I've got to go to college and do this, or I've got to work weekends, and maybe I don't see enough of my kids, but it's not forever, it's for now. But you've got to prepare to do what you hate. So I write books, and it's not always fun. It's a very isolating thing. And when I got my first book deal, I gave them the money back because I just couldn't sit in my house on my own and write because all I could think of was how boring it was. And then I realized that I looked at all my clients who've made it, and they don't do that. They go, I hate this, I'm doing it now. Because that's the second thing of people who succeed. They do what they hate first. They've got to fire someone, it's the first thing they do. They've got to make a difficult phone call, it's the first thing they do. Now, I do that as much. I wake up and go, what do I not want to do? Map out this talk. Well, I'm going to do it now then, because successful people do what they hate first. But you see, they don't think, yeah, I'm such an amazing person. They have a different brain that goes, well, I don't want to do it. So am I going to think about it all day? I've got to call in this member of staff and go, look, I've just discovered you're taking money out of the company, and they're my friend. And I've got to call them in and bring that up. But if I wait all day, I've got that feeling of dread. Oh my God, I still haven't done it. It's now 6 o'clock. I'll do it tomorrow. And then they have the dread all the next day. So if I do it naturally, I couldn't stand the anxiety. I thought, come in at 7 a.m. I got them in the office. I sorted it all out. I was like, what a relief. And the others go, no, I just keep putting it off. So the people who do it naturally don't do it because they're virtuous. They do it because they don't want to carry around that anxiety all day of, what do I hate? Let's do that later. And even going to the gym, if you hate going to the gym, go first thing in the morning. Because if you go, well, I'll go at 4. Oh, no, I need to eat now. I'm really hungry. No, I can't go to the gym because I've just eaten. I'll go at 5. And now someone's just called me and now I can't. No, I haven't gone to the gym. I'll go tomorrow at 4. And tomorrow never comes. But when you do what you hate first, here's what happens. You feel like a winner. Because winners do what they hate first. First of all, they do what they hate. That's good enough in itself. And they do it first. And hate may be a strong word. Maybe you want to say, I do what I dislike first. So my client who became a rock star was fully prepared to work in a burger bar in order to achieve his dream. My client who got out of bed at 4 a.m. and walked up and down Laurel Canyon in a sweat was prepared to do what he hated because he had a dream of marrying this beautiful girl whose parents said, well, he's going to drop dead on the job. I mean, he's 600 pounds. You can't marry someone of 600 pounds. He's going to kill himself. And he wanted to marry her. She wanted to marry him. But she also wanted her parents to be very happy, did what he hated, and ended up having a much happier life. So I want you to think about, what do you believe that you hate to do or dislike? What is it that you dislike? And how good are you at avoiding that and putting it off, which is normal? And how different would your life be if you did it first? So in my company, we have a little motto now. What do I hate? Let's do that first. Let's do what I hate first, because you feel good all day long when you do what you hate first. And if you do what you hate last, you feel terrible at it because you're waiting. It's like waiting to be punished. Or, so a lot of people will, so for instance, kids at school will, when the teacher says, okay, we're all going to read out loud, who's going first? And the kid that puts their hand up does it first says, but I didn't want to be the last one. I was dreading reading in class. So I thought, let me get it over with. And the kids that do that, put out their hand and go, I'll read first, I'll go first, I'll do it first, are the ones that naturally become phenomenally successful because they automatically do what they hate first. Doesn't matter if you've never done that in your life. It doesn't matter. I mean, you didn't pee in the toilet once, but no one here says, I still don't do that. Well, I hope not. And just because you didn't do something, it doesn't mean you can't acquire habits. You can acquire and adopt any habit. So I want you all to commit that you're going to go home and say, right, I'm going to go to work and say, what do I put off? What do I put to the back? What do I really dislike? I'm going to do that first. I'm going to do it first every day until it isn't what I do, it's who I am. Because it isn't enough to play it and go, oh, I just did it today. I made a difficult phone call. I talked to a really difficult customer. I rang someone up who owes me a ton of money and said, okay, we need now to work out a payment plan for this. I did the difficult stuff. If you enjoyed that video, check out the next one right here. You can also click the link below right here for your free gift. The only thing you need to find love is a belief that you are lovable. Reprogram your subconscious mind for success. Remember, it has a job.